The Fed15 podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a financial planning practice serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of either Raymond James or Serving Those Who Serve. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc.
Welcome, everybody, to the Fed15 podcast, presented by Serving Those Who Serve. Each week, we'll discuss the latest news and info that Feds need to know in 15 minutes-ish or less. I get a little windy and wordy sometimes, so we'll try and stay close. So whether you're a seasoned federal employee or just starting out in your career, we have you covered. So grab your coffee, your energy drink, your green juice, whatever gets you going. Or if you're doing this at the end of the day and chilling out, kick back, listen. We'll tell you everything you need to know but may have missed. We are your hosts. I'm Dan Sipe, and I am joined by the extraordinary Katelyn Murray.
Hello, everybody. That's a good call out, Dan. I frequently forget about the evening listeners, but
yeah,
I suppose you could absolutely be winding down. You know, we're getting
Somebody
into the cooler
chilling.
months. Yeah, getting into the cooler months. You're winding down by the fireplace, having yourself a glass of eggnog. If you're an eggnog drinker like me, I know eggnog is a contentious topic this time of year. But I'm a big fan.
Only how early you bring it out. I think that's the only, at least in my household, that's the only debate, because we are eggnog people.
Oh, 100%. But there's, I think I saw it this year before Halloween. I want to say I saw it like around my birthday, which is end of August. That's insane.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. You know,
Yeah.
I do have my one of my nephews. He lives for when McDonald's rolls the eggnog milkshake.
Oh, I don't know about the eggnog milkshake.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
that's new one for me.
It's a thing, man, and he counts the days to it.
Wow.
So yeah, now this episode's going to be going up for Thanksgiving, you know, because I know we have to live outside of space and time, but we break that. We're like Deadpool. We break the fourth wall all the time.
Yeah.
So
Time is an illusion, baby.
Indeed. Katelyn, I know gatherings and family are important in your house. So what's a big deal in the Murray household for Thanksgiving for the table?
Yeah, we're talking Thanksgiving food. We're talking beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. My favorite topic. So for us, it does rotate. We like the staples. Obviously, we always have turkey. We are not ham. So we are ham at Christmas and Easter people and turkey at Thanksgiving people. We do not break those rules. So we always do turkey. We always do the staples, green beans, mashed potatoes. Mac and cheese is a big feature at our family gathering, and it's a specific crock pot mac and cheese recipe that it was my grandmother's. And we typically will try to pull out. So she was a big canner. She passed away in 2021. So we have kind of a tradition of kind of pulling out at least one can of something that she canned to kind of be on the table, which is lovely. You know, obviously that tradition won't last forever, but you know, while we can do that, we definitely do, no pun intended there. And I've also got friends in the area. You know, I think Thanksgiving is it's important for us to acknowledge the folks who do have non-traditional situations. And as one friend of mine at the Salvation Army put it, she said it's important to remember those who are often forgotten during the holidays. So there's also an event happening with the Salvation Army where they're serving from 11:30 a.m. to like 1:30 p.m., I think. So that's something that we're, you know, looking into participating in.
Good for you.
It's not just about food. It's also about fellowship and holding space for people. And I think that that's really important, especially this year. It's important every year, but especially this year coming off of, you know, a time that is very divisive in our country. The election is always, you know, contentious, but it feels very divisive right now. And I think what is healing about Thanksgiving is the coming together and, hearing stories from folks from all different walks of life. There's also like Friendsgiving, folks who spend time with chosen family. And there are a couple events like that, we're potentially participating in. So it's a busy day. There's a lot of fellowship, but really looking forward to it. So I know that you, Dan, are a big foodie, and I know that we don't talk about this a lot on the podcast, but you've gotten creative in recent years with Thanksgiving cooking and updating recipes for your lifestyle. So tell me something about that. I'm curious.
Well, absolutely. So, the regular listeners may or may not know that had a little bitty, truly small health scare a couple of years ago. Readings didn't point towards things being good for the future. So I went largely plant-based. I do sneak some fish in there. And so, but that didn't change how I approach, for example, Thanksgiving. Yeah. So I'll be up at the crack of dawn with the smoker going. So we will smoke some things. We will fry some things. I have a wicked air fryer. So I do a wicked fried Cajun turkey. And I'm going to put this out there. Let the hate mail begin. Ask STWS at STWS.com. Hashtag Dan's an idiot. You can just go ahead and send it in. Turkey's a mean bird to work with, baby. Okay. I mean, it tests you. Okay. It is not a forgiving meat. So I'm an injector, all kinds of stuff going in there because I am not serving dry meat. It's never going to happen. Now, much like you, we really opened the house up. So we have family, we have extended family, and with kids, some kids still in college, be it grad school or what have you. We also have folks that can't get home for Thanksgiving come to the house. So we'll probably have 40 when it's all said and done. But we will have two turkeys. One my wife does in the oven, and she crushes that. She brines it, does the whole deal, everything.
Miss Mary knows the drill.
Miss Mary, Southern Belle, frickin'
love it.
Cuisine ninja. And then I will have something on the smoker. This year, it is going to be, get this, beer can Cornish hens. So how do you get that? How do you get a beer can inside that Cornish hen? You ask me, Katelyn. A good question, Katelyn. I will happily tell you. You get Dole pineapple juice cans.
Okay.
And you use them for marinades. And then you fill them half with beer and you gently put them up inside the little birdies. And then the other thing is, again, let the hate mail come in. I will gladly take it. About 5 years ago, we added pork ribs to the menu. Well, I was thinking about it, Katelyn, because I frequently go on these mental tangents. We're talking about the settlers. I'm pretty sure they served whatever they shot.
Yeah.
And if you happen to nail a wild boar, I'm betting you were really happy that Thanksgiving. So we dropped that in there, and the big reason was it gave me different things of different cooking times. Figured I have going throughout the day because I'm up crack of dawn and going right up through when we serve around 5 o'clock. So it is joyous. I have I do not try and make vegan pork ribs. Okay, I know they sort of exist, folks. I will tell you. I'll fess up here. There is no way to cook a Brussels sprout that will taste like a pork rib. So don't even try. So that is the day that my doctors give me a little bit of grace because it's one day a year, and I'll have sort of a tasting menu from the things that I do. And then I'll always have my mainstays of the things that are just part of my normal diet. Lots of veggies, lots of legumes, things like that. So went a little bit long here, folks. I apologize, and if you have any curiosity about, and one of the things, and this may or may not resonate with you because I know you're a Southern gal, tomato pie. That's one of Miss Mary's. Tomato pie is an absolute mainstay.
The first time I ever saw a tomato pie, I dated somebody who was from just outside Philly, Bucks County, and they brought tomato pie to me. And I was like, where is the cheese on this pizza? What have you done? I was so confused.
Okay, so you hit it. There's two tomato pies. There's a northern and a southern. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm like, what? Yeah. So not the biggest tomato pie fan, but I may have to swing up your way for that fried Cajun turkey, man. Cajun turkey is my favorite. One of my favorite.
Don't sleep on Southern tomato pie because it is based on stewed tomatoes.
It's worth a shot. Okay.
And then tons. It's made with leftovers stewed tomatoes, leftover biscuits. Okay. It is money.
I would be willing to be heard again. I'll try it.
All right. Well, I know feds would love to just hear us talk food all day, but we actually have some pretty cool and important things to cover. So, Katelyn, you have an article, and I don't do all the things here. I just want to make that clear, folks. So the things that make Serving This to Serve great, they are 99% other people and maybe 0.5% me and 0.5% something else. But we're covering the things that just don't get covered by the jokers who are out there saying, I'm a Fed expert, roll your TSP into my annuity, and then I'll never talk to you again. Okay, we're covering that stuff. So we have a great article, Understanding Federal Benefits for Same-Sex Couples. So Katelyn, tell us about that.
Yeah, so there were a lot of updates, right, around, and this has been a couple of years now. 2021 is when same-sex spouses gained equal access to benefits, despite the fact that marriage equality was legalized in 2015. So there was roughly about a 6-year gap there between federal benefits being equally applied to folks. So we want to make sure, just kind of doing a roundup on the 2021 update and just addressing same-sex planning for couples and how that impacts your retirement benefit in the picture there. So before 2021, little history lesson, same-sex spouses were often excluded from federal survivor benefits. Survivor benefit being you've got a FERS pension, something happens to you, and then your spouse is able to collect 25 or 50% of your benefit on a going forward basis. The reason that survivor benefits are so important for FERS, particularly in couples where maybe one person is private sector and one person is a Fed, you cannot have access to the FEHB healthcare coverage if you do not have some sort of FERS pension coming into your household. So what this would mean if you were in this position and you could not get a federal survivor benefit if the Fed partner passed away, it would mean you lose your health insurance. So it's a huge deal. It's not just the pension income. It is also access to critical components of federal benefits planning like FEHB. So despite the fact that marriage equality was passed in 2015, same-sex couples did not have access to ongoing FEHB coverage and FERS survivor benefits. Legal cases obviously ensued, and that led to a change allowing retroactive survivor benefits to be paid to same-sex spouses who would have been married sooner if not for prior bans. So as things stand now, eligible same-sex spouses can claim retroactive payments, which enhances obviously financial security and retirement by virtue of having additional FEHB healthcare coverage and also having the income from that FERS pension. So looking at, equality there with survivor benefits being applied, this is both, by the way, under FERS and CSRS, looking at making sure that you have that coverage. If you were affected by prior marriage bans prior to 2015, definitely want to make sure that we're highlighting that, it is possible to seek retroactive survivor benefit payments. Life insurance and survivor benefits, thinking about FEGLI, right? So FEGLI previously did not necessarily offer coverage by virtue of not recognizing those same-sex spouses. Now, obviously, that has been rectified. The TSP, right? So inheriting or transferring TSP accounts. Yeah. If you are part of the TSP Millionaire Club, and you were in a same-sex marriage prior to 2021, there were difficulties transferring that TSP and being entitled to spousal TSP transfer. As a quick refresher, a TSP or a 401k or any kind of employer retirement plan, when that transfers from a spouse to another spouse, that spouse can treat that retirement plan like their own. They are not required to do inherited RMDs on that money. They would follow their own RMD requirement. And that was not a factor when you didn't have the preferential spousal transfer of TSP. So obviously a huge benefit there. Estate planning and tax implications. Obviously, spouses are allowed a tax-free inheritance. Spouses do not pay estate tax on assets that are passed between the two of them. And that was something that we did not have equality on and now do. And then obviously, I think there are some unique challenges and the potential for more unique challenges on the horizon for same-sex couples. I think working with a financial advisor, although this is a group of the population, and I want to hold space for this, this is a group of the population that has frequently been overlooked by the financial services industry. And that is something that we have to acknowledge as a skeleton in the closet of the financial services industry.
Not here.
Here at Serving Those Who Serve, we serve all feds.
Yep.
All feds. So working with a financial advisor, working with a financial planner who understands both federal retirement benefits and the unique challenges that are facing same-sex couples, both in the past and potentially in the future, is one of the best moves that you can make to create more options for yourself in the future. You want to look at things like updating beneficiaries. You want to look at things like adding spouses to your health insurance. You want to look at proactive planning measures that you can take to avoid surprises and maximize your benefits. It boils down to the same message that we share with so many of our feds. Knowledge is power, and it's all about maximizing your benefit to maximize your options. So if you are someone who has, historically been impacted by lack of access to these benefits, and perhaps your knowledge around those benefits has suffered as a result, get in touch with us. Reach out to us at askstws@stwserve.com. We would be happy to educate every federal employee and retiree on these benefits. That's what our mission is all about. So, Dan, you have a piece from the blog this week that is also geared at perhaps what we should call an underserved kind of population within the federal community, our lovely CSRS folks.
Absolutely. And while this bill is going to impact many more people, just CSRS folks, here's the thing. Once again, the other folks in this landscape, you barely can get them to pronounce CSRS right. And there just aren't that many letters. It's not that hard. But there's between 2.4 and 2.5 living CSRS retirees. And so we're never going to forget that group. There's 44,000 active CSRS. We're never going to forget that. We're going to keep running webinars exclusive for CSRS. And, the rest of you jokers, you want to just talk about FERS and roll your TSP to an annuity and pretend you're who we are, keep it up. Go for it. Okay. We're not going to be that person. We're going to be the person we've been for the last 40 years now, almost, looking after everybody. So the Social Security Fairness Act just cleared the House. So big, important step, had bipartisan support. So essentially what this means, folks, and if it doesn't affect you and you don't have anybody in the family it's going to affect, you can tune out now. I don't have any more surprises or fun jokes or recipes. So, but if you do have folks, it's probably worth a listen. So not just CSRs folks, but public safety workers, which can be law enforcement, first responders, things like that, who were under systems where they didn't pay into Social Security. What it meant is when you get to Social Security age, your Social Security is going to be reduced, even though you may have had a second job and paid into it. Now, there are formulas for it. We've covered those where if you get at least 30 years, you don't have a problem. If you get at least 20 years, it starts getting better. So I'm not going to go through those right now. But the big thing it's going to mean for our CSRS folks is that the windfall elimination provision could go away. So that means our CSRS folks could see a jump in their Social Security income, never a bad thing. But most important, that's the windfall elimination provision, which presumably was meant to take care of eliminating double dipping. But a whole lot of people got caught up in this and had benefits reduced. So now the government pension offset is affecting nearly 1 million people. And it's widows and widowers of people who had government pensions that didn't necessarily pay in. But ordinarily, this person would be able to collect on the higher Social Security of their spouse. That's not there anymore. So that's always been something that kind of stuck in my craw as I was explaining it to people. So I've always tried to be fair and say, Social Security was built to protect from the lower income levels up. And thankfully, most of our career feds are paid good wages and are able to build up pensions and things like that. So who's going to be affected by this change? Again, it's going to be all of our CSRs folks who are active and currently retired, but also police officers, firefighters, teachers, postal workers who most likely contribute to Social Security through second jobs. Okay. So you could have a very profound impact here. Still got to get through the Senate. Now, it's been proposed. Proponents are arguing that it's unfair that this kind of wipes out a lot of people's benefits. Opponents claim a full repeal would cost $150 billion over 10 years, hastening the insolvency of Social Security by a full year. And they suggest that the windfall elimination period, government pension offset, maintain fairness by preventing excessive payments. Not sure how that'll work. There may be some changes to this in committee as it gets through the Senate, where they might work in some formulas on it. But at the end of the day, I think this is a net positive, and I think it's a good thing that they are taking a look at this. Give a hand to Representative Garrett Graves from Louisiana, a Republican from Louisiana, and co-sponsored by our friend Abigail Spanberger right here in Virginia, in our neck of the woods, Democrat from Virginia, bipartisan.
Yeah.
Always like that.
Love
yes,
that.
Thank you. And a discharge petition got 218 signatures, so the bill was able to be brought to a vote in the House. Came through, it hit, we're good to go. Now it's got to get through the Senate. So we're going to be following this. We're going to understand it. We're going to know how it works. If you want to follow up with us, hit us up at askstws@stwserve.com. This is the stuff that's just not going to get anywhere else, because we know that feds make up a kaleidoscope of people and circumstances and situations. And we're not leaving anybody behind. So we're going to take the time to cover these things too, but also to make sure our planners know about them and can have an intelligent conversation with you. Because that's who we are. That's why we're here. That's what we do.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Dan. Well, folks, that is definitely all the time we have today. And then some. We get carried away with the food talk. Both of us are foodies. What are you going to do? But we will be back next week to bring you all the latest updates that you need to make informed decisions about your career and well-being as a Fed, regardless of whatever else you may be, regardless of whatever category you fall under. We serve all Feds, and we will be tracking everything that impacts the federal community.
Yep. If you're an early eggnog Fed or you're a not until Christmas week Fed, we got you. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast on our YouTube channel and Spotify so you never miss an episode. So hit that subscribe button and please share it with your friends and colleagues. So if you know somebody, if there's somebody you care about, somebody you love that could be impacted by this, please share it.
Absolutely. And for more information on the topics covered in today's show and more, be sure to check out our blog at blog.stwserve.com. While you're there, you can subscribe to our newsletter, The Weekly Serving, to get all the latest news for Feds delivered straight to your inbox every week.
Absolutely. And don't forget our live webinars every single week. A couple that you won't want to miss. On December 4th will be our ever popular first webinar featuring the incredible Jen Meyer. Will be hosting. That's from 11 until 2. And then the very next day, December 5th, we have our tax planning for Feds. Tax planning, it's not just for April anymore, folks. Should be thinking about some stuff as you come into the year. And that's from 1 until 4. And it is co-hosted by the incredible, the irreplaceable Katelyn Murray. So
Who?
you don't want to miss that. Katelyn
Does
Murray.
she work here?
She's amazing. She's you haven't met her yet? You got to check it out. I'm telling you, it's next level.
It's a wacky ride. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Fed15. I apparently am Katelyn Murray, reportedly.
You are indeed Katelyn Murray. You are the Katelyn Murray. And I'm just Dan Seid. And
And we will see you next week. Happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you got time to enjoy time with friends, family, chosen family, whoever you have the opportunity to have fellowship with. And yeah, we will see you next week.
And ribs count. Ribs count.
Ribs count. Hot take.